Welcome back, I'm Speedrunning from the Law, and this is going to be another installment in my tutorial series where we are speedrunning Super Mario 64 70 Star, and we're doing it with beginner and intermediate strategies that anybody can learn. Today we're going to be hopping back into Tall Tall Mountain, and we're going to take a look at the 8 red coins star. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop in here and I'm going to show you what it looks like, then I'll hop back in and explain each and every step. Before we get started, if you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe. It does mean a whole lot to me. And if you need help at a specific point or you have anything to say, just drop a comment down below and I'll get to it. Thanks. So that's the star. It's very movement based. There is a decent risk of falling off and death, so you do need to be a little precise with your movements, but I will explain how to do it all here. Hopping back in. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to C-stick left and C-stick down. So we have this nice little camera here to start our long jump. Now that Goomba is going to be there every time. If you go right away, you don't need to worry about hitting him, because what we're going to do is a long jump, and then we will do a jump dive over him. You should never hit him if you go right away. So during our first long jump, we're going to want to press the Mario Cam button, because we're going to want Mario Cam for what we're about to do next. So a long jump and immediately press Mario Cam. And now we will be somewhere right here. Goomba's attacking me now. And so what's going to happen from here is we're going to do a jump dive out of here. And right here we're going to do a second jump dive. And we can actually cut this waterfall right here over this gap. We can jump dive over it. And we want to jump dive over it because we're saving the maximum amount of space. So jump dive, and see how much ground we actually cover when we jump dive over this portion of water, rather than taking, so I can never get back up, taking the longer way. What's going to happen is if you take the longer way, if you go like this, you're going to have all this distance to clear, and it is going to take like an extra second or two, so I would jump over this waterfall. Once you jump over this waterfall, you can do a quick dive rollout again. I have to emphasize the word quick because, as you can see here where we're going to be, it's uphill, which means your dive is actually going to put you immediately on the ground. So what you have to do is when you click the dive button, you immediately have to click the jump button again in order to roll out. And you're going to click that dive button immediately when you're here, dive, roll out. And it just gets you to this point a little quicker. When you're speedrunning this game, the goal is to never just have Mario running like this for too long. And there's these awkward distances, like right here, where we can't really do a long jump because we'll go too far. We can't really do a jump dive because we'll go too far. But we need to somehow maintain our speed. And just permanently running will slow us down. That's why we do the jump dive rollout right here. Again, do it very quickly. Then, during your jump dive rollout, should be a Mario Cam here. What's going to happen is during the jump dive rollout, you're going to un-Mario Cam and C-stick down and do a long jump over here. Now these camera movements are quite important because they're going to affect what you can actually see, and in a movement-based star, that's extremely important because we don't want to be falling off the edge here. So just like that, we'll be right here. We'll do a long jump over there, a long jump over here. And now what we want to do from here is, this is kind of the treacherous part. We're going to have to do some maneuvering across these mushrooms. And so the first thing we have to do is, all we have to do is make a jump up to this first mushroom. This is where it starts to get a little tricky though. What we're going to do is jump and catch this red coin in the air, then do a dive rollout on, have pollen flying down, a dive rollout on this one right here, which should bring us all the way to the third. And when we're jumping on here, we want to make sure we get a little bit rounded before we jump, because we need Mario's angle to be facing these mushrooms over here to the left. If we jump from here, what's going to happen is we're going to have to do this weird turnaround. And angles are very important on these mushrooms because you don't have much time to actually walk on these mushrooms and change your angle. So your angles need to be essentially preset before you actually jump. So when you jump and you land on the next mushroom, you're already going to have the proper angle to continue the cycle. So we're going to go around here, jump, dive, roll out, and that should give us the momentum to roll out all the way on top of this mushroom right here. And for those of you that may not be familiar, a rollout is just when you dive and right before Mario hits the ground, you can press the jump button again, and instead of staying dove on the ground, he will actually roll out back onto his feet. It's a very quick way to continue a cycle of fast movement, and that's what we're doing here. So once we get to this is where angle especially matters, because here, the mushroom in front of us, as you can see, is extremely small. So we have to do a very small jump. It's very easy to do too big of a jump and then screw up your angle here and not be able to get the last red coin. You want to do a tiny jump, well, not that tiny, but see how now that actually illustrates how tiny the mushroom actually is. It's actually extremely difficult to do, especially when you don't have the momentum from moving. That's why we need to do this star fast. So we'll get back over here, do some maneuvers, just like that. Because we had the movement there, my X press was appropriate this time. It's basically, when you have the movement going forward, it's basically a very small tap that should get you right here. And what's tricky about this is that if you want to keep moving fast, we have to kind of be angled to the right here, which is why we do such a small jump and barely land on this. So we have some room to run up and to the right. And what we can do is another jump dive across this mushroom, obviously grabbing the coin in the process. What happens if you go too far? You're not gonna have time to run, and your angle is going to be facing somewhere over here, and you'll never actually be able to get this coin quickly, because what you're gonna have to do if you're right here, you will either fall down and die, or you're gonna have to stop and walk back around and do a weird jump. And ideally, what we want to be doing right here is actually a jump, dive, roll out to grab the coin and get here very quickly. Now, this spot in particular, you're going to have to mess around with this for a little bit just to get used to the angles and the movements. So if you're struggling at first, don't worry too much. That's pretty normal to be struggling at this if you're just learning the star. Just follow the movements I told you and make sure your angles are kind of preset, since you don't have much time to actually run on the mushrooms and adjust them yourself. So now that we're here, we do a long jump and C-stick right once. And what this sets us up for is a double jump, kick up here. These molds can actually hit you, but if you're going fast, you should be pretty safe. So one jump, two jump, and a kick, and that should get us exactly up here. Now it can be a little tricky with the kick, because if you have too much momentum going forward rather than a kick, what you're going to do is a dive. And if you don't have enough momentum forward, you're going to kick, and you're not actually going to get the distance. So it's a very fine line. You want your first jump to be, these things are so annoying, right there. Your second jump to be about right here. And at the peak of your second jump, you want to kind of pull back on the control stick slightly and kick. That way you'll get a kick instead of a dive. And then quickly pull forward on the control stick again so we can get the distance. So in summary, when I'm doing it, it's back, forward with the control stick. That's how quick it was. I pressed back just for the moment so I could press the kick button, and then I immediately plummeted forward. And now what's going to happen is we're going to jump up here and C-stick right. And what happens now is we're going to walk off this ledge, and the game will think we jumped. And then when we hit our first jump, it's actually going to be a double jump. and we're going to have enough speed or enough height to get up here because of that. Essentially what that's doing is when you walk off the ledge, the game thinks you have jumped. That way your next jump input turns into a double jump rather than a single jump. It gets you distance. Then we want to take this double jump and we want to shift it into a side flip up here. And then do actually another side flip onto this coin. So it's a very in rhythm movement, kind of going, oops, not what I want. Again, if you can't get up here at any point, just do some side flip action. What we want to do is double, oh my gosh. This is so much harder when you're not doing it fast. Alright, double jump, side flip, do a semicircle right here, kind of. You're going to want to have to run out to this ledge real quick and do a side flip over here. The reason for that is that if you run right here, you're going to hit the roof right here, and you're not going to be able to actually get up. So we need to peel out here, do a side flip. Once we get on here, we're going to have to do a very quick side flip up here, because that's a very small platform, so it's really hard to get a side flip up on here. So you're going to have to be very quick with your side flip animation. There's also the option of doing, I don't like doing this, but, well, you can climb up that way. You can do a wall kick off this, but I really find it a lot more trouble than it's worth. See, I just keep getting a ledge grab. And then once we're here, we do a final side flip up to this, and we can literally just walk off straight in the direction of the coin, holding down, and all you have to do is hold down, and we will land on this mushroom, and we can grab the star. So that is the 8-reg coin star. Again, it is very movement intensive, so you're going to have to, this is a star you have to practice a decent bit to get fairly consistent at, but I think it's a really fun star. It looks really cool. I always really enjoy the movement intense star. So guys, if you have any questions, if you need any help on anything, please let me know in the comments. I do read them all, and I will address yours. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.